Good morning and welcome to day 6. Fantastic, you have made it to day 6. That's the happy news. The sad news is the numbers keep going up. Of course, they keep going up. Things keep changing. We're still going to be feeling unsettled and a little bit nervous about what's going on, obviously. My other thing is that I have just been fretting a bit about the doctors last night. I just didn't sleep properly, thinking, how are they going to cope? Still, I know they will. I know they will. And I know we will too. So we are going to do a little bit of seated yoga today because last night, I was up worrying, fretting, but I was also up coughing. So yesterday I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm totally well again. And last night it was like there was a little goblin sat on my chest. He was a very nice, happy, friendly goblin, but just sitting on my chest going, I just can't breathe properly. So I'm going to be taking a little bit slower for myself today. Because, I feel fine-ish, but just not the same breathing here at all. I said to the kids before I went into isolation, it feels like you've just been duct taped. Like this is just a little bit tight and you just can't breathe into here quite the same anymore. So breathing a little bit more up here. It's probably just a common cold, but I'm never going to know, am I? Because I'm not going to testing kit. So it's kind of, strange times. And if it's a common cold, I can do whatever I like and it'll be just grand. And if it's the big real thing, then really I must stay away from people. So we shall see. So from sitting, if you want to start with your knees bent up and you're just going to fold yourself forwards over your legs, really soft, because remember you've maybe just got up, you've maybe not done a lot of movement today so far, so go very, very soft through the back of the body. We're just wanting to find a really comfortable place to rest just now. And then walking your hands up your legs to bring yourself up and to sitting. You're going to extend your legs out, and it might be that you keep a little softness behind the back of your legs and you sit up on a block so that you're more comfortable and so the back feels settled and you can get that lifting up feeling rather than that kind of drawing back sensation when the hamstrings pull us out. So just make sure you can get that nice feeling of lifting up, and then you're going to take your legs a little bit wide. So just a little bit wide so you've got space in between your legs and you can bring your hands onto the floor. You're going to lean yourself up and forward so that the back of the body is just lengthening up. So we've still got kind of natural back curves at the back, in the back of the waist. And then you're going to walk your hands up to bring yourself up to sitting, and you're going to take your hands onto the floor close in beside your hips. Elbows are going to draw together and then press your elbows down towards the floor. So you're thinking of that feeling of lift up through the back of the pelvis. The back of the waist is gently lifting forwards. Shoulders are drawing back of the neck is long. And this is gently expanding the chest, as you can probably feel. So into the rib cage, into the muscles. And then bringing yourself up to just natural sitting so that you're sitting comfortably. From here, you're going to take yourself so that you're coming over to one side. So you're going to let your hand rest onto your leg and the other hand's going to float up. And it might be it just comes to here. And it might be that it comes further. If you're in your bed or on a chair, just take your hand to the side rather than onto your leg, obviously. Other hand's going to start to float up. It's going to come up and it's going to see where it wants to come to, and it might want to come to here. And then just for the moment, we're going to stretch up with the fingertips all the way out and all the way down. And then you're going to come to the other side. So hands going to float up just to where it feels really easy and your breathing feels settled. Take a nice breath here, a little stretch out. And then extend out with the hands and down and onto your legs. We're going to take that a little bit further if you'd like to. I'm just moving back so that you can see. You're going to take your hand up and you're just going to see where does your body want to move to. So can you see I'm just gently sliding my hand down my leg as I ease forwards, and you're just going to see where feels good. So this feels about comfortable and happy for me at the moment. So consciously I'm relaxing the shoulder that's on the side of the foot. I'm gently extending, and although my hand is lifted, if you're pregnant or if you have back issues, bring your hand onto your head so you're not overstretching. But what we're looking for is down through the hip that you've come away from, open through the waist and open into the armpit. You're going to stretch up and out and back to sitting. And then we're going to come to the other side. So hands going to lift up. We're going to do exactly the same thing. You're just gently going to ease into it to see where does your body want to move to. So we're looking for that nice feeling of opening into the side of the waist. And your feet are just a little bit alive, so they're not tight, they're not hard, so they're not angular like they're on show, but they're just a little bit alive rather than gone to sleep dead. Don't want that. You're going to stretch up with the fingertips all the way out and all the way down so that your hands can rest onto your legs, shoulders can release down. You're going to bring the soles of your feet in towards one another, and from here it might be that your feet are very far away from you and just the heels touch. It might be the toes of the feet come together, and it might be they come in towards you. You're going to take your hands onto one side so you can lift up through your hip, and then gently extend down through the knee. Bring yourself back to the centre. We're going to do the same on the opposite side, so hand rest onto the floor, opposite knee gently extends away. And then bring yourself back to the centre. You're going to let your hands rest onto your legs somewhere. You're going to lift up with the pelvis, so it's as if you're drawing your tummy area towards your feet. So that's when we get to, so if you see it from the side, instead of this feeling, we're wanting to look towards that feeling so that the lower back is lifting forward. So what you might think that you see is my back arching. If I just arch my back here, this is where I come to. But what I'm not just arching my back, I'm trying to come up and onto the sit bones. So those hard knobbly bits that feel like you're rolling towards the front of those sit bones. And then when we find the sit bones, the rest of the spine just has a kind of natural desire to lengthen up, which is why we're coming onto the sit bones and why it's more important that your knees are high than it is, and so that the knees are high and the pelvis can lift up. That's more important than lost it. It's more important that your pelvis is lifting up at the back than it is that your knees are down towards the floor and you're looking like a beautiful photo. Better that you feel good. So shoulders roll down the back of the body and just take a couple of nice, smooth, easy breaths here. So just feel that sense that as you breathe in, the ribcage gently expands. As you breathe out, it softens in again. So we're working for that breathing in and breathing out feeling. And you're going with your pattern, so it might be faster, it might be slower, it might be just a little movement for you today, it might not be your normal full breath in, but go where feels good. Your feelings will tell you how to breathe. And then from here, you're going to extend your legs out in front. And if you bring your toes towards you a little bit, so you're stretching the toes in, the knees are drawing down towards the floor, and you're going to get a nice stretch, a little bit of a stretch through the back of your legs, depending on how stretchy you are. And then from here, if you bring yourself round and into all fours. So we're just going to do a little bit of work in cat. So from here, as you breathe out, you're going to lift up through the back of the waist. You're going to draw up and release the head down. And as you inhale, lengthening out, looking between your hands or slightly beyond. And you're going to go back and forth with your breathing, as if the movement is rolling up your spine from the lower back or from the pelvis. So that it starts in the lower back, it rolls up through the back of the waist, the back of the rib cage and through to the neck. And then lengthening out again. And one last time. And very importantly, if you find yourself breathing a different way, that's absolutely okay. Usually it's more comfortable to breathe out, lift up the pelvic floor, lift up the tummy and the back of the waist, but you can do it differently if it feels better or more natural. And then from here, with the back lifted up, you're going to slowly draw your hips back towards your heels, and you're doing it slowly, because that's a really nice way to get a lovely lengthening through the back. And then let your elbows rest down and let your head rest down. You're going to press into your feet. You're going to bring yourself back and into all fours. From here, you're going to slide an opposite hand and foot out along your mat or the floor. And if you're lying down, you're going to find this one very tricky. So maybe just extend one leg up. And if you're sitting, you can do a little modification of it of one hand, one leg lifted, but not as easy to modify as some of the other ones. So from here, you're going to float one hand and leg away. And you're thinking about a little drawing up through the tummy so that you feel quite stable and steady whilst you're here. And then you're going to bring your hand and your knee back down. And then we're going to come to the opposite side. So first of all, they extend away, and it might be that you just have your hands touching the floor and you don't go further and you just work with that little lift through the tummy and the pelvic floor. Or it might be that once you've got that, you're happy just floating up and away with the leg in the hand. And then bringing yourself back and into all fours. We're going to do one more on each side. So this time either hand and foot are touching the floor, or they're just going to float up. Or you can start to extend them up towards the ceiling if you would like. And then bring yourself back to even. And then we can do the opposite side. So hand and foot lengthen away. Maybe they float up. Maybe they lift up. And then bring yourself all the way back and into all fours. And let your hips sit back towards your heels. Take your knees wide if it's comfy. And then slide yourself to resting forwards, or just letting your head fold forwards if you're sitting or lying. And breathe into the back of your body. So imagine you can take your breath into the sacrum area, to the back of the pelvis and the lower back. And then bring yourself up and to all fours so you can bring yourself to even. So that is our yoga for the day. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it helps to set you up in these challenging and unusual times. And I'm going on day 7. I'm going to send out another quiz so that you get to have a little bit of reflection on how things are going. Because although day 7 is only 7 days, it feels like a long time. It really, really does. So I imagine time is going to take on a new meaning in these times of pandemics. So I wish you all the very, very best for your day. Thank you.